June, which means Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston's contracts are officially off the books. What does that mean for this team?
It not a lot. Their salaries officially come off the books, but they had already lowered those to the veteran minimum salary, so it's $1.2 million each, $2.4 million combined, but then they get replaced by someone else in the top 51 accounting that they do for cap purposes who has like an $800,000 salary. So really they are only saving a combined total of $800,000 in cap space. The reason that they do this, though, is by waiting till June 2nd, they can postpone all their dead money into next year. So that's why they did it, not to actually get cap savings for the rest of this season. But June 1st, is just like the time of year when you schedule that. I was going to ask you, related to these two guys, though, Nick, who did the Saints do a better job of replacing, Michael Thomas or Jameis Winston?
I mean, they didn't really replace either one at all, really. I mean, they kind of just rolled with what they got at quarterback. Peterman came in. They drafted Spencer Rattler. Jake Haener's probably going to end up being the person that takes over for him. So it's kind of flat. Cedric Wilson is an addition at wide receiver. But I don't think they replaced Mike's skill set at all. So I would kind of go with the neither. But if I have to pick one, probably wide receiver a little bit more. I don't know. It's weird though because he came into a bunch of games last year. Jameis did, and it didn't really make a net difference overall. However, if there was an injury right now and Jameis is on the team, I probably feel a little bit better just knowing. But there's definitely a possibility that Haener could be just as good as a backup quarterback right now. If you're game planning for 15 games or something, I'd rather be doing it for Jameis than anybody that's on the roster right now for this specific upcoming season.
Yeah.
But like as far as just kind of like a fireman drill, come in, replace, sort of have similar skill sets, needing to execute a game plan designed for Derek Carr on the fly, Jake Haener might be better equipped at that immediately to do that. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think that they should have made the effort to replace Jameis. So I don't think it's a $10 million problem.
They saved money.
Yeah, I think you're better off not doing anything. So I like the overall plan at quarterback. I said it in the show a couple weeks ago, just kind of like
having the young
I like the young guys in there. So I'm with that. And I think Cedric Wilson will probably be solid, but I think they are going to sorely miss that Mike skill set. I thought it was a must. I don't feel like they addressed it. So I guess, I don't know. I've kind of talked in circles here, but I guess I go back to the quarterback is feeling like I like the overall idea behind it. Better. Yeah.
You feel like that? I feel like they didn't execute a plan they might have had at receiver. I think they executed their plan at quarterback. At receiver, I don't know if they missed out or not. Cedric, we might be underrating Cedric Wilson. Maybe he'll be the answer to that lead topic a year from now. Who knows?
Yep. Next one. Kool-Aid McKinstry officially signed his contract this past Friday, meaning that the Saints have locked up their entire 2024 draft class. We haven't seen him in OTAs yet, but the reason was because he didn't sign his contract, he's recovering from foot surgery. So what do we think his activity will be come training camp time?
Training camp, I think he should be full go for training camp. I think if not right away, like early in it, I don't think it's going to be something that lingers very long. It looks like he's getting close. We see him in the locker room. It doesn't seem like he's battling like a significant injury currently. It feels like it's progressing the right way. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the expectation I think for him. Is just probably full go come training camp.
Gotcha. Next one. Drew Brees mentioned the other day that he still wants to give broadcasting a chance. He hasn't completely closed the door on it. And then he doubled down on Twitter. So, Mike, what do you think Drew Brees' future is in the booth?
I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, he said, I think I could be the best at it. And one thing we know about Drew Brees is, like, we were telling the stories the other day about, like, how he gets mad when he loses ping pong or pickleball and decides to be the best at that. Yeah, look, I think he just admitted the time in his life when he was doing the TV work, he wanted to be at home with the kids and everything. He didn't fully devote himself to it. If this is something that at some stage of his career he fully devotes himself to, I'd be interested to see him take a real crack at it. I think Tony Romo ruined it for everybody. Like the same thing happened to Jason Witten. It's like you used to put an ex-player in the booth and either you paid attention to it or not. Yeah. Now it's like it's an event to listen to their first game and immediately judge them. So he was judged very, very harshly. Yeah. But, I wonder if that puts a chip on his shoulder that he wants to give this a try because he's obviously, a good storyteller and he has a wealth of knowledge. just not something that happens overnight for most people.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think that's the problem with our society as a whole, that everything's a snap decision and nothing is given any time to marinate, to learn, to appreciate. You know, every song has to sound the same now. If it's a little bit challenging to you as a listener, like, oh, this is garbage. Like, there's no evolution of anything anymore because we want it to be the same and familiar. But that snap decision stuff is terrible. Look, on the Drew thing, I mean, maybe he could be great at it, but I mean, I think it would. I wasn't overly whelmed the first go at it. So I mean, you know, maybe he pays more attention to it. Maybe he dedicates more time to it, and maybe he comes back and it's better. Maybe, you know, if he gets that opportunity again, sure, it'd be great. But you know, those Notre Dame games, there were a lot of them. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't doubt him, though. He is a competitor. He's smart. He knows football. So I don't see why he wouldn't be good at it. He's well-spoken, all that stuff. I was a little bit surprised that it went the way it went the first time.
It was interesting to hear him, to realize he's kind of challenged by that. Like, he got made fun of pretty good nationally and just kind of quietly went away. But it's interesting to know that's been eating away at him. You know, if he's decided he wants to be good at this, he's probably going to come back and make a run at it.
So you're saying you were just whelmed? You weren't overwhelmed, underwhelmed? You were just whelmed? I didn't even know whelmed was like a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of, you know, it was just, all right. You know what I mean? Like, it was, I didn't think he was. There were two games. I remember the first one kind of, you know, being like, wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't have a strong opinion either way. Like, I thought he was just kind of okay, but like that okay isn't good enough anymore. Like, people want that, like,
right.
Oh my God, like this is like being in the huddle. Like, I want to. You kind of got to take him in there now, and you know, I think fairly he didn't do that. And I remember like some of the analysis, and that was a little bit rough a couple times. But I do think that, you know, doing it consistently, maybe putting somebody on, you know, the fourth tier broadcast team and allowing them to grow into it, that used to be a path, that used to be a thing, and I think it is a hard job. I mean, you listen to guys that do radio, and they kind of have that grace to kind of make their mistakes and get better at it. I don't think you have that on TV anymore, and you know, you listen to even Zach Streif, you listen to him at the beginning and then you listen to him at the end, and there's like significant growth there for him in it. But like, if you were judging him off his first two games, like, he probably doesn't make it to the third one. But it's kind of like an understanding, like, all right, he's going to do this. We're going to get this guy's mind and brain in here. He's going to learn how to get comfortable on the mic. He's going to learn. He's going to do it. He's going to grow, all this stuff. And you're willing to take those rough spots because it's like, okay, 4 years from now, you know, he's going to be great. And you used to be able to do that. You can't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think maybe Drew underestimated like what the runway was going to be on it and kind of felt like, all right, I'm going to do this and grow in it. I think Brady probably understood it and was like, I'm going to stay away from a year. I'm going to do mock games over and over and over and over. So when people see me, like, hopefully the rough edges are just kind of melted away. And, you know, I think that's probably what he's been doing for the last year.
People are all going to say Brady's great. I feel like he doesn't get any criticism for anything. No matter what, he's just going to be. Everyone's going to.
Cuz just got roasted.
You should have lived in Boston, man.
That's what I literally was about to ask you about. You know, you have a history with him, so this is going to be his first year officially taking over the number one slot for Fox. So, do you think he will be able to excel in that role?
It's hard to know, man. Like he was so guarded that it's just kind of, you know, it wasn't. You know, when Brady talked, it wasn't like, I got to get in there. You know, like it was just kind of going to be like, this is going to be
cookie cutter,
mundane and boring, and he's not going to say anything, and it's going to be a lot of, you know, very safe answers, and there isn't going to be a lot of like teaching going on or anything like that. So I'm sure he has that mind. It's just I never, you know, as a reporter in that setting, specifically that setting, they don't give you much. So I mean, it's really hard to know. But I always felt like he kind of had like a sense of humor. There was a little bit of something there. So we'll see.
That roast probably loosened him up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And last but not least, this week is the final OTA. We've been out there for 3 weeks. What do we expect to see more of? And kind of what have we been under the radar on the last couple of weeks?
Defensive lineman, I feel like, I mean, it's a tough time to judge him, but you talked to Brian Brzee last week. I don't know when we're going to see him on the field. I look forward to seeing him on the field, but it's nice to know that he got some things cleaned up this offseason. He feels really good about where he's going to be at physically. I look forward to seeing him. Isaiah Foskey and Peyton Turner, guys, I want to pay more attention to, see how I think they're looking. They're getting a lot of first-team and second-team reps now with the other guys hurt at their position. I mean, we keep talking about the offensive line. We keep talking about the quarterback position, and we're going to continue to do that. I think I'm going to look a little closer at Bub Means when I get a chance. But the ones that stood out to me are those defensive ends. I want to try to train the and maybe Werner and Willie Gay Jr. too. Some of that front seven on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I kind of want to get a better gauge on, and I think we can get a probably a pretty accurate gauge because it's pretty real, as far as the pads, no contact versus contact thing is just kind of just the deeper down cornerback and wide receiver depth charts. Like I feel like I got a pretty good feel for the top of them and where everybody is rating right now. But I don't feel like I have a strong opinion on Equanimeous St. Brown.
Equanimeous.
Yeah, there we go. St. Brown. Bob, you mentioned him. Some of the guys further down the depth chart, I don't have a great feel for how they're stacking up. So I kind of want to pay some more attention to that, and then some of the lower tier cornerbacks.
All right. Coming up, we bring back an NOF favorite with
Equanimeous.
Equanimeous.
All right.
St. Brown. The big one.
Yeah.
The big St. Brown boy.
All right.